Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a long time coming as we have been transforming Ed's entryway from a cluttered pass-through space to a more functional place that feels like a moment and sets the tone for the entire home. Since starting this makeover, we have painted, thrifted, flipped some thrifts, DIY'd, and more. It has been a journey, and we are both excited to be done with the space. Sort of. Let me catch you up. In part 2 of this makeover series, we had just finished painting the walls, the ceiling, and the door of the entryway. I know some of you were horrified that we painted the wooden door, and I tried to reassure you that this door will be replaced in the nearish future because it's a bit old and drafty. We thought we would try something different since it is temporary. We have done the first coat of paint. I'm still working on the door. But we've done the first coat of paint on the walls and the ceiling. Yeah, we took a little bit of a break to let the first coat dry. I think we're only gonna need 2 coats for the walls and the ceiling, but for the door, I mean, we might need like 3 coats of paint for that. Because this is just one. It's taking forever. But, you know, putting white on top of dark, okay, I'm just gonna have to do a couple coats to make sure that it's got full coverage. So that's where we are right now. Stay tuned. Hey, Frankie. Inspecting the work. A little makeshift sanding area because it's raining so much today. Got the candle, setting the mood and hopefully keeping mosquitoes away from the house. Did finish painting this part. We removed the that rack there from the coat hook, and we had to buy trim to fill that piece. See how that's missing there? It had been covered with the piece of wood from before, so when we took that off, we found that that was missing, so now we have to stain that and put that on the wall. After searching thrift stores and Habitat for Humanity restores near and far, we bought an Ikea shoe cabinet off of Facebook Marketplace to make over. So we set about cleaning it, sanding it, and priming it. Now we wait for the primer, to dry. We had to buy some wood and reinforce the back because the ones that had been in the original Ikea setup had snapped. So we made that change, which obviously you probably can't do unless you have access to those materials and those tools. While we wait for the paint to dry, let's circle back to the overhead light. If you remember the cliffhanger from part 2, you've been waiting with bated breath to see if we kept the mid-century looking light fixture or went with the light academia looking glass flush mount. Surprise! It's door number 3, mystery guest light fixture. We ended up returning option 1 because it looked too small once it was on the ceiling. We felt the space needed something with more impact. We didn't use the thrifted glass one because Ed didn't like the look of it once we turned it on because it only had 1 bulb, which was off-center. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I found a 3rd light fixture option on the street in New York while I was walking Coconut. I think it's fantastic, but it's not the right fit for Ed's house. I guess she'll just have to come home with me. My precious. Trash? Not trash? After some Amazon searching, we ended up with this pretty lady. Ed thinks it looks like melted plastic. Maybe that's mid-century modern. I don't know. I think it looks like a glowing flower or one of those jellyfish that glow in the dark because they're in the depths of the ocean. In both cases, we think she is lovely and a quirky little piece that adds interest to the entryway. It's actually so much warmer in real life. Now that we've gotten the overhead light fixture sorted, I'm going to show you our work on the half wall that separates the entryway from the wooden room. We want to remove this coat rack and install new vintage looking coat hooks on this wall. Removing the bulky dark coat rack will create a continuous line, making the wall feel taller, while the new hooks will lay closer to the wall, and their smaller profile will allow us to hang just as many coats and bags, but without taking up as much physical space. Oh, gross. It was about to be gross. If you are like a Dr. Pimple Popper fan, this might be like the home renovation equivalent to that. So we're just taking off that board that had all the coat hooks on it. Progress. Now we just have to figure out the light switch situation and put the new coat hooks on. No big deal, right? Today we're installing the hooks. I did that DIY before where I just made them look a little more gold, a little more brass. We've decided that we're gonna hang them in the middle of each one of the panels. It's just the installation that looks the most normal. To have them like spaced out more means like somebody is going to be a little close to the grooves and it looks weird. So we're not going to do that. We are still working on fixing the box because we took that weird plank off the wall. We had a hole in the trim. See that spot there? And then you can see where we took the trim off. So we had to go get more trim and we have to stain it to match this, which Ed and I, depending on the light, this wood looks more chestnutty, more like red chestnut or more kind of like walnut looking. So yeah, wish us luck. Here's an early test where it's a little not exactly right. You can really see it in that light. Wow. One. Finally. Some kind of progress. Did I show you guys the door? There's a GoPro. And then we're almost ready to install the shoe cabinet. Hooray! Okay. Ed is cutting the wood that has been stained that is going to go around the light switch. We have painted we've sanded, we've painted, no wait, we sanded, we primed, we painted, and we sealed the drawer fronts. I feel weird calling them drawers because it doesn't feel like that's what they are, but that definitely, the first one definitely is a drawer. These little pieces that are going around the light switch, they're actually the old piece from the wall over here. We just repurposed them. You know that's something that's kind of important to us. We did, and by we, I mean, I gave advice, but Ed mostly did it, stained the new pieces of wood, that's a pretty good match considering it was your first time staining and we don't know how old this wood is and you know what the stain was that they used originally. But we're gonna attach those two pieces and then the 4 pieces that go around the light switch. So that'll be framed out. And then hopefully we'll be done with this part of the project, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. While Ed frames out the light switch box, let's talk greenery and do a DIY for the entryway. We ordered these magnolia branches off of Amazon. This was Ed's choice. He really wanted something, he didn't want something like really green. He liked the brown. He wanted something, I think, more moody, more brown tones and less like bright green. I was pushing for something a little brighter. And I think the thing I like the best, the leaves look pretty natural, but you can bend each leaf to make it stick the way you want it to. They don't just kind of, they're like there must be a wire or something in there. It's not just plastic underneath. As you know, we went to Brimfield and we've gone to Stormville and we've been thrifting, and we have not found a vase or a planter that Ed liked to put into the entryway. So I'm gonna do a little DIY on this terracotta planter. So I think it's beautiful and I don't want to paint it, but Ed's not in love with it. And so we are gonna do a little moody DIY. See how I just started applying the black and you can see what's underneath? I want that to show through. So I'm thinking that instead of putting the black down first and then going over it with the colors that'll make it look a little distressed, I'm gonna reverse that and I'm gonna put the light color underneath and then I'm gonna go back over it with the black. I've got the first coat on. I might only do one coat. I'm gonna wrap up my paintbrush while we're waiting for this to dry. I don't know if you know this trick, but it has saved me so many times, because if you leave your paintbrush out just a little too long, you're busy with something else, you forget about it, and you come back and it's ruined. But this has helped me many times. We're just wrapping it in some tin foil or aluminum foil. We're gonna wait and we'll be back in a bit. These are the handles that we've been talking about forever, waiting for forever to get. It took a long time for them to come in, and we only have 2 out of the 3 at this point. So we're working on some other projects while we wait for the 3rd one to arrive. At this point, you should have seen me do a little DIY on this. It's okay. I'm okay with it. Ed's okay with it. So we're gonna do some fake foliage inside. Ed picked out these magnolia branches. He wanted something that was kind of moody and still had some greenery and looked real, but the house doesn't get a ton of light, so we're kind of restricted in terms of plants because of that, and because neither one of us is really a green thumb. I've chosen to go the dirt route, which means I need to plug this up so that dirt doesn't come out the bottom. And then I'm gonna fill the inside with dirt. I'm gonna pack it in so that it can hold the stems firmly, but I don't wanna overdo it. I don't wanna waste dirt. These are tomato plants that a friend gave me. She does not watch this channel, and if she did, I would just say we don't get a lot of light on this property, and Most of these were pretty much dead not long after we got them. I mean, I think they could probably be revived, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna stick them in I actually don't know much about growing vegetables because I didn't pay attention as a kid when my mom had a garden. The other tomato plants look really good. One of them is still growing tomatoes, so I think those ones have a better chance of making it to next season. So I'm taking the dirt from these and we'll see what happens next year. Yeah, as a kid, my mom had tomatoes. She was a big gardener. She had tomatoes, squash. That's really what I remember is the tomatoes and squash. I feel like we ate a lot of tomato squash casseroles as kids in the summertime, and that she was trying to give that stuff away when we would go to town events. Like, does anybody want this excess squash? Because we just had so much of it. This is pretty good. With the moss, it should help. The moss should help to keep it stable as well. And we're back. Now, the fun part? Day 4,742 of doing an entryway. We finally have the mirror up. That's the light we got at Brimfield. We're about to install the shoe cabinet. Oh my God, so close. The switch is done. Handles are up. We're getting there. So close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Copyright ding. We had a lot of trouble obtaining the handles for the shoe cabinet, so I think I was losing my mind at this point in the project. But let's talk about finishing touches and styling. Most of the items in the entryway have been thrifted at flea markets, estate sales, and thrift stores, while I found the other pieces by shopping Ed's home. We laid out a bunch of his art pieces, then made edits based on size, color, and how much Ed liked them. The photographs on this wall were taken on our trip to Paris. I printed them and put them in these thrifted frames. Overall, I think Ed is happy with the new look of his entryway. We accomplished a lot of his goals. We made the space feel lighter and brighter with paint, new light sources, and new light fixtures. We added a lot more storage for shoes and a place for him to sit when he puts on said shoes. We mixed his three styles, light academia, mid-century modern, and Japandi, through the selection of colors, hooks and handles, greenery, and accessories. Speaking of accessories, since I bought that marble ashtray, Ed has considered buying several others. I think I may have made a marble ashtray collecting monster. Let's remind ourselves of Ed's old entryway. And without further ado, Ed's new entryway. Thanks for watching part 3 and the final video in Ed's entryway makeover. You know, unless I decide to add a curtain or some privacy film to the door, or when we replace the door and work on the staircase. If you like thrifting, DIYs, and all things interior design and decorating, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications to see more videos from my channel. Until next time, I'll leave you with these bloopers and outtakes. Bye! What's that noise? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna talk now. I forgot to tell you, we had to reinforce the back because the, sorry, I'm gonna, a little bit of pause for the neighbor. Coco's in puppy jail. Coco's in puppy jail. Yeah. Oh, look at the little big girl. There she goes. What is the name of the character in Beauty and the Beast? That's the French dust lady. You know, she has the romance with Lumiere.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Whoever
that is, this is the closest I've ever gotten to being that girl, a French maid.
No.
I don't. Ed said, are they gonna wonder why you're? Are they gonna wonder why the tree is lit up? And I said, they probably know already. And then I was like, all right, maybe I'll tell them. What? I'm not gonna cut it.
I'm gonna cut this. I mean, like, when you show this to me, I'd be like,
No, the answer
you
is.
need to edit this out.
The answer is I don't know why it's lit.
You need to.
I know why it's here because Ed doesn't want to put it in the attic because it's a pain. But I don't know why it's lit up. Is it for lighting so that you can cut?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, for the record, you guys, this is a big deal actually that this tree has been purchased and is lit because Ed didn't even own a single Christmas item last Christmas.
Oh, that's not true.
And then
I own Christmas lights.
Yeah, well, we have a bucket full of Christmas lights over here.
I had a Christmas tree stand, which is still under the house.
Still under the house. I have a Christmas tree stand, and I have an apartment in New York. Yeah. Anyway, this is currently the workshop because we don't have a workshop. No, I mean, they're not, are they going to judge? Are you guys going to judge? Yes. I mean, some of you are going to judge, but like, you'll be nice about it. I'm not showing them the other side of the room. I'm not showing.
This is too many private stuff in here.
Okay. All right. My dad's texting me. I got to go do some work.